there's not an easy process for them to walk away because it's a huge transition.
Sure.
It really is a problem for a lot of people to leave work.
It
Not
is.
only do they not know what to do, but they just don't want to leave.
Well, nobody likes that middle stage of transition, right?
Right.
That chaos.
Right.
And when you leave what you know, whether you like it or not, you know it. You go into that middle transition phase, that neutral zone of chaos. Some people spend way too much time putting off retirement for all the wrong reasons.
And this procrastination, it can prevent you from all the wonder and excitement retirement brings. So why keep pushing it off?
Clearly, as we get older, we have less time to do those things that we had always imagined or dreamed about. We want you to have control of this time and feel empowered to have fun and excitement.
So when you're ready to leave, start dreaming, build a plan, execute on your plan, and leave your career. One of our clients was totally ready to retire financially. Everything was fine. But he was concerned about what to do. So he kept working. And he kept making excuses.
Even though he thought he was tired of the daily grind, he just kept plugging and plugging away until he was more than 75 years old. Then he finally stepped away. He honestly worked 15 years longer than he needed to. But by then, he wasn't in the best of health.
Like us during our career, he didn't really pay that much attention to his physical and mental wellness these last 15 years. And because of coming out that late, his plans of travel were put on the back burner until he was better again, because he really wasn't agile enough to move around. And his dream of buying a second home in Florida, it fell through because he and his wife couldn't agree where to do it.
Originally, they wanted a home in Florida for warm winters, and by then they had 6 grandchildren that they all wanted to be with, so he wanted a house big enough to host everyone.
But that just didn't happen. And he finally realized that most of his peers had already retired and moved on. So his community of people in this stage of life was a lot smaller. He was just behind on so many parts of his life. It really is a shame that he waited that long.
Listen, before we dig into the advantages, if you're new to our channel, welcome. We started this to help you and the 10,000 people every day turning 65. Please hit the subscribe button and share so more people can enjoy our content. So let's jump into it. Today we're going to give you some advantages for retiring early so that you might be encouraged to do it sooner rather than later. And the first advantage is a big one: time.
Time. You have lots of time. During our careers, all we ever said and all we ever heard was, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time for this. We don't have enough time for that. We couldn't go to the gym. We couldn't travel. But in retirement, you get 40 plus hours a week that comes your way. And it just becomes your new friend, all this free found time.
We get asked all the time, okay, so now we have time. What's the best way to use our time?
Well, the thing that we did, I retired at 62, and I think you were 55. Is that right?
That's about right.
I'm 65 now, but we look out to my age of 90. So that's, how many years is that? That's
well, 25 years now.
That's 25 years.
25 good years.
Good years. So we figure between now and then, we're certainly going to age, and we have to be careful. But what we decided to do was to plan activities around that with that thought in mind.
So if you think about it, I'm 57 now, Mark's 65. And since we used his age at 90, that is 25 more happy and healthy years. And we are going to plan to make the best of it.
Since we are the youngest we're ever going to be, we front-loaded the first 15 years with things that are more active.
Yeah, keeping the advantage of time in mind, let's move to the second advantage, which is a longer and more diligent focus on our health and wellness. For us, this was always on the back burner during our career and while we were raising our children.
So this is now, I would say, our number one priority. Really focusing on our health and wellness to take us through the next 25 years. And it really, for us, starts with our morning routine. We both get up early. We both sit together for about 30 minutes and catch up, have a quick cup of coffee, and then off we go. You go to yoga, and I go into our home gym.
Part of this routine also includes meditation, some journaling, writing our gratitudes, sharing those with each other, maybe writing one self-affirmation, and Now we're doing some long form writing, which has been really interesting.
So this routine really tees up our day, our week, our month, and our years moving forward because we can focus on our health. Using this newfound time, we want to be able to live longer and healthier and be in the best shape that we've ever been.
So these advantages really build on one another, right? The first one is time. The second one is the focus on your health and wellness. And the third is the ability to travel. This is high on many people's retirement goals. Most of our clients lead off with, we want to travel. So the earlier you can do this, the more fun you'll have. And with the time that you have and the time on your side, you can dream big for travel plans.
But think about it. If you've always wanted to traverse the Grand Canyon on a donkey, which isn't that easy.
I did it.
You want to do it as young as you can. I know, I was about to say, you did that, and it was quite the workout.
It was quite the workout. And I'll tell you, I did it. I would never take it back, but I am glad it's behind me. I would do it again, but maybe not when I'm 85. You know, other trips that hit our early retirement list were like cycling through Italy or a hiking tour in Patagonia, or one that we have on the horizon in 2024, gorilla trekking in Africa.
I know, I can't wait for that.
Can't
so
wait
we're
either.
Starting now with COVID behind us. We're starting to plan some more travel.
And more
some
intricate
active
travel, right?
Yeah. So again, front load your travel the next 5-10 years with some active travel, because after that, if you want to end up on cruises or just if you want to rent an Airbnb in Italy for 2 weeks and just kind of hang out, do that as you get older. Now you want to do the things that you can do when you can move around.
Hey, if you're going to rent an Airbnb in Italy for 2 weeks, text me.
What are you going to do?
I'll go.
Okay.
So far we talked about more time if you retire early, the focus on health and wellness sooner if you retire early, and some active travel. The last advantage is just leaving the rat race of work sooner.
Yeah, this is, for some people, it's like tearing off a Band-Aid. You know, there's not an easy process for them to walk away because it's a huge transition.
Sure.
It really is a problem for a lot of people to leave work.
It
Not
is.
only do they not know what to do, but they just don't want to leave.
Well, nobody likes that middle stage of transition, right? That chaos.
Right.
And when you leave what you know, whether you like it or not, you know it. You go into that middle transition phase, that neutral zone of chaos.
Yeah. This was a big change for us.
It was.
And it was also a relief. You know, we had spent 38 years for me, I think 32 for you, working really hard towards this idea of retirement and, you know, the dreams that we had for it. And it was always with the goal of leaving, right?
It was. It was. From the day I signed up to work, I started saving for retirement. So it was planted in my head at 22 years old. And near the end, we could really see the freedom that only a few years away we had. And the excitement was building. And once that began, there was no turning back for us.
I know. Yeah, but the other thing is that idea of entering retirement and coming into it gave us energy. And it gave us energy to start planning what retirement could look like. Because in our careers, we had to do reports and we had to host meetings and we had sales quotas and employee reviews and all of that admin work that just was draining for us, that didn't allow us to really dream. So when we finally stepped away, we had this energy, we had time, we had excitement around building some dreams for our retirement.
Yeah, I mean, paint the right picture. We both loved our jobs, but we were not programmed to work forever. And there was a fear that perhaps our replacement might not be as good as us. And we worried about things like our teams, our customers, our vendors, our bottom line. But really, that was no reason to stay.
No, and that is a bit of a transition for us. I mean, I replaced myself with someone that worked for me for 20 years, and I had all the confidence in the world. But still, in the end, I had people calling me up, oh, I miss you, you were the best boss ever, and all of that. It goes on. Everything's fine when you walk out the door.
Absolutely.
But we felt the same thing about one thing. While we loved our jobs, we don't miss them anymore.
No.
And we wouldn't, I don't
I
think...
miss the people.
Well, I was going to say, what's his name? Steve, I think it always says to us, I don't miss the circus, but I do miss the clowns.
Right.
So
right.
that's a kind of
I
a
agree
funny
with that.
saying.
Another benefit of retiring early is just that your energy level will be higher now than it ever will be. So if I know for us, we have 2 grandsons and we expect many more grandchildren. You know, with 6 kids, I'm sure that's going to happen. But you know, young kids take energy. They give you energy, but they also take energy, and it takes a lot to keep up with them.
Well, we just spent a week out in Monterey, California with our 4-year-old grandson, Luca, and we had him 2 whole days and an overnight, which was really a lot
Super
of fun. But is he active? My God, I can't remember how active 4-year-olds are. We both had 3 kids under 4.
I had 3 under 2.
But it was 30 years ago the last time we
Yeah.
had 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it is amazing how much energy. And I remember watching my dad as a grandfather. He didn't take care of himself. And he had a really hard time watching my 4-year-olds back then. He really wasn't, it wasn't what he thought it was going to
Yeah,
be.
you really need to get down on the floor. You need to keep your energy high all day. So I really think retiring sooner will definitely help with that.
And the high energy helps us with all the demanding things you like us to do.
It's true.
Dance lessons, pickleball lessons. We're playing golf together. I love my cycling now. That takes a lot of energy. And you spend a lot of time and you love your yoga.
Absolutely. Listen, we know that many companies will let you stay longer and maybe as long as you'd like. But once you're financially secure, give serious consideration to leaving early for all of these reasons we've listed.
Leave a comment below and watch this next 3-part video series on leaving work. These videos are going to give you a wonderful perspective on getting ready and making the jump away from your career.